WXII 12 News at 11 starts right now.
Tonight, new agencies join the search for two teenagers wanted for 3 murders. What the victim from North Carolina's family is saying as investigators follow up on a new tip. Plus, changes to the Trump administration as the president gets backup in his criticism of a longtime congressman. And how a new medical center opening in the Triad says they plan to keep their families together even if a birth doesn't go as planned. We start tonight with breaking news, live pictures from an active shooter situation in the Bay Area of San Francisco, California. At least 5 people were shot as the third and final day of the Gilroy Garlic Festival was wrapping up. This happened at Christmas Hill Park, and police say one person was taken into custody near the festival. Officers are still searching for at least one other person. Buses have been taking people away from that scene, and this is still a very active situation. Our NBC affiliate in San Francisco captured this video when the chaos first unfolded. It started around 9 p.m. our time tonight, and emergency crews say 11 people were, quote, down. But it's not clear if those people were shot or trampled in the chaos. We will bring you the details as they come to us. Happening now, the manhunt across Canada continues for 2 teenagers wanted for the murders of a woman from Charlotte, her Australian boyfriend, and a Canadian native. As Morgan Chesky reports, more agencies are joining the search as we speak, acting on new tips.
Tonight, a massive manhunt in Canada. The military joining forces with police in a growing search. Air crews tackling remote areas as officers go door to door, clearing hundreds of homes.
We are activating all necessary resources to protect the public.
The targets, teens Cam McLeod and Briar Schmigelski, who police say may be hiding in the woods near the small town of Gillum, an area known for biting flies, mosquitoes, and even polar bears. Authorities releasing this photo of a bear searchers encountered on their hunt for the suspects.
This is very challenging terrain. This is a large area, lots of dense bush, forest, swampy areas.
The childhood friends wanted for murder last seen in this surveillance video. The pair taking their time to casually walk through a hardware store. The clip captured a week after police say the 2 murdered 3 people, including American China Deese. Saturday, loved ones gathered to remember the 24-year-old in her hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina. Friends describing Deese as a kind and adventurous soul, as her family called for justice.
They have absolutely nothing to lose, and they're willing to risk anything.
Police say Deese was on a road trip with her boyfriend Lucas Fowler when the 2 were found shot dead outside their broken down van. Tonight, nearly 2,000 miles away, the 2 teen suspects are still on the run. Morgan Chesky, NBC News.
On the other side of the world, 2 American teens are being held in Italy accused of stabbing a police officer to death in Rome. Italian police say 19-year-old Finnegan Elder and 18-year-old Gabrielle Nadelhorth admitted to the crime, and they say that it happened, but each named the other person as the one who actually killed the officer. The teens allegedly told investigators the murder happened during an attempted drug deal. One of the teens' neighbors says she almost fainted when she heard the news.
I've known Finn since he was born, and I'm in shock. He's the nicest guy, one of the nicest neighbors I have. I've never seen violence in him.
A picture of one of the teens illegally blindfolded during police questioning is causing concerns among lawyers here in the U.S. Meanwhile, Italy's interior minister is calling for life sentences. So far, neither are charged, but both can be held for up to a year without charges, according to Italian law. Back here in the Triad, 2 people only have minor injuries, luckily, after this crash in Winston-Salem last night. 4 people were pulled from 2 overturned cars on South Peacehaven Road. Investigators say around 10:30 last night, one car crossed the middle lane, hit the other car, causing both to flip and land upside down. Police say they're still looking into what caused the first car to cross that center lane. Still no arrest tonight after a deadly shooting at a festival in Brooklyn, New York last night. A 38-year-old man is dead. 11 others are hurt. At least one of those people are still in critical condition. The 56th annual Old Timers Day Festival was wrapping up around 11 o'clock last night. That's when several shots were fired near a playground. Some 100 police officers were still on the scene when the shooting happened, but they still have no suspect information. Officers say they're looking for 2 people, and gang activity is likely the motive. Tomorrow Tomorrow, our National Investigative Unit series on election security continues. Our team was the only media allowed into an election security drill earlier this month, the first of its kind ahead of the 2020 elections. Last week, former special counsel Robert Mueller, along with current FBI Director Christopher Wray, issued warnings about foreign countries, specifically Russia, trying to interfere in our country's elections. Lawmakers are now pushing for Congress to take up bills to strengthen election security all across the country before the 2020 elections. You can see all of the National Investigative Unit story on Operation Blackout and election security tomorrow night on WXII 12 News at 5. Well, just days after announcing plans to hire someone to coordinate election security efforts across the country, National Intelligence Director Dan Coats says he's stepping down. Coats has clashed with President Trump during his 2-year tenure as director. As Hans Nichols reports, the president is nominating someone to take over the post who tends to agree with him a little more.
Dan Coats oversees 17 different intelligence agencies, but his tenure was often at odds with President Trump over issues including North Korea and Russia.
The White House has announced on Twitter that Vladimir Putin is coming to the White House in the fall.
Say that again?
Vladimir Putin coming
Did I
to
hear
the...
you? Did I hear you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's going to be special.
Coats also publicly contradicted the president on Kim Jong-un's willingness to give up his nuclear weapons.
North Korea will seek to retain its WMD capabilities and is unlikely to completely give up its nuclear weapons and production capabilities.
Late this afternoon, the president announcing Coats's replacement, Congressman John Ratcliffe, who impressed him during the Mueller hearing last week.
Donald Trump is not above the law. He's not. But he damn sure shouldn't be below the law.
Amid the internal turmoil, the president is fomenting divisive politics on Twitter. Today, doubling down on attacks against a Baltimore congressman, calling him racist Elijah Cummings. But Cummings getting support from his hometown newspaper in an editorial writing, "This is a president who will happily debase himself at the slightest provocation." While the White House acting chief of staff tried to explain that the president's attacks were not racist.
It has absolutely zero to do with race.
That was Hans Nichols reporting tonight. More on Representative John Ratcliffe. The Texas congressman sits on the House Intelligence Committee, so he is familiar with the role. He still has to be confirmed by the Senate Intelligence Committee, chaired by North Carolina Senator Richard Burr. Meantime, Dan Coats is expected to leave his position coming up on August 15th. Tonight, the woman who is supposed to replace Puerto Rico's governor this week says she doesn't want the job as the island struggles with recession, corruption, allegations, and hurricane recovery as well. Just days ago, people filled the streets of Puerto Rico in celebration, and Governor Ricardo Rossello agreed to leave office this Friday. It follows weeks of protests over his leaked chat room messages that contained obscenities about female politicians and gay Puerto Rican celebrities. The U.S. territory's former Secretary of State would be next in line to serve as the governor, but he also resigned along with Rossello and dozens of other officials. That leaves the job up to Justice Secretary Wanda Vasquez, who now says she's hoping Rossello will appoint a Secretary of State to lead Puerto Rico instead. A brand new birth facility is set to open in Winston-Salem tomorrow. The Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center Birthing Center is a 100,000 square foot facility. It's focused on giving new families a personalized labor and delivery experience. There are 51 private patient rooms, and the brand new NICU is also right down the hallway. The center's chair says access to Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center's full range of doctors will help moms and babies with high-risk births.
I think it is a landmark moment because right now our department is in multiple locations, and to have it all into one facility really is a benefit.
And the new birthing center opens tomorrow in Winston-Salem.
We are back to work tomorrow. For most folks, temperatures are back where they normally would be for summer as well, with temperatures closer to 90 degrees. Humidity coming back, storms coming back as well. I'll tell you when.
Plus, the stars are shining bright in Winston-Salem. We'll take you inside tonight's celebrity reception ahead of the National Black Theater Festival. And who else could be listening when you ask Siri for some help? We'll tell you coming up on WXII 12 News at 11.